guys, welcome to a new video here in JS Education. My name is Carlos Santana, and this is the video number 39 for the course Developing a Headless CMS with TypeScript and GraphQL. So let's start. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, as always, is to update our packages using ncu-u. And then just remember that you should use the versions you are seeing on my terminal to avoid any problem. After that, you need to install them. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is go into Backend, source, data, and you need to create a new folder called content inside data. And then inside content, you need to create a new file called ar.json, another file called es-mx for Spanish. The first one is for the Arabic language. And then the third one is gonna be ja-jp JSON for Japanese. Okay, so the first file, we need to save this. Don't worry if you cannot copy this Arabic code. I mean, all the changes are gonna be on the repository. Also, I don't know those languages. I just copy and paste from Google Translate the values. Spanish, I know Spanish, so I can tell you that email here should be correo electrónico, for example, and then password should be contraseña. And finally, the Japanese version is gonna be this one. Okay, so after this, you need to go to the index on data, and we need to import some dependencies and some data from here. So you need to import the for each from fogg-utils, and then the Arabic content, the Spanish content, and the Japanese content. And after this, we are going to save our content in translations array, sorry, in a translation object, just passing the language. For example, the Arabic is just AR, but for example, the Spanish and the Japanese, we need to save the key with dashes. It's very important, like es-mx and with capitalized. The second pair of words, and then ja-jp, and saving the Japanese there. Okay, and then you need to create this function called create initial content. Basically, the first thing we need to do is to find if we have any content in our model, in our content model. If we don't have any, then basically we are going to use the for each method. Basically, because this for each from fogg-utils is handling arrays and objects. So for example, you can loop objects using this for each. So that's very cool. As you see, this one is an object, right? So what it's doing internally is doing an object that keys and then getting the keys and then looping that. So basically the first for each is gonna get each language, in this case the keys. The second for each is going to get the keys. In this case, it's gonna be like email, login, password, and register. And then basically each key or each value, we are going to push that to the content array. We save the key. The value is coming from translations of language and key. And we specify the language that is related to that value. And basically after those for each, we just save the information using the bool create content, and that's it. You just need to execute this function right here after create declarations. You just need to call it there. And from here, you need to go to interfaces, index, and then you need to import the content from types. Also, you need to define the iContent interface, And finally, we need to add the content to our models like this. After this, you need to go to types, and then you need to put this content type, which is going to have the key, the value, and the language. And then you need to go to models, and you are going to create the content.ts model. So basically this is for like create the database. So basically this is the same as other models. We just define that with an ID, a key, value, and language. And that's it. We don't need any more. And all of these values are just strings. We don't need to specify unique values or something like that because it can be repeated for different languages. And basically what you need to do now is going to the index, and you need to add your content model here like this, content, and then sequelize that import content. Then the last thing you need to do is going to the front end part, and then on source config common, you will have this language list. Before was like just n, but now we need to set the default as n-us, and then we need to add our languages like Arabic, Spanish from Mexico, and then English and Japanese. Probably you will ask like, where is the English file, right? Because we are not adding that to our initial data. But if you notice, all the keys are in English, right? Like email, login, password, register are in English. So basically, when we don't find the language or the translation, we are going to use the key. In the next video, I'm going to show you how it's going to work. So right now it's kind of hard to explain, but we are going to get the English from the keys on these files, basically. Okay, so that's it. Basically, what you need to do is to run your backend. And I highly recommend you that you force your database to clean. So now after that, you need to go to the database, and then basically you see here that we have in our database all the keys and the values related to each language. For example, Japanese, password, contraseña in Spanish, etc. So that's the first part of the internationalization implementation. In the next video, we are going to actually translate the login page, for example. And I choose the Arabic, for example, because it's the only language, like, as you know, most of the language or all the languages are read from left to right normally, but the Arabic is read from right to left. So we will need to change the direction of the page based on the language. So that's why I choose to add the Arabic right now. But we need to add, or we are going to add more languages. So basically, if you want to add more languages like French or something, you just add it to this list, like fr-fr, for example. So that's it for this video. I don't want to make it like big because this topic is gonna be long, and I want to split it in a lot of videos to be more easy to follow. So that's it. If you have any question, feel free to join our Slack community. The link is on the description. Also, if you really enjoy those videos and you're learning with those, I ask you just to leave your like and also share those videos with your friends and subscribe to this new channel. So that's it. Thank you for your time and see you in the next video. Bye.